Hello everybody, this is Des12530 and aka Desmond Yu-Gi-Oh, at least on this channel. And today we will be we'll be talking about a archetype that is I would say it's actually kind of good archetype if they were to fix two more issues. That's simply put, we need even more support for this archetype to be good. Simply put, they need a new boss monster and they need a few more consistency cards. But other than that, um, this archetype is actually really, really good. What archetype am I talking about, of course? Well, this is X-Sabers. So X-Sabers were a warrior synchro archetype, um, released in the 5Ds era, and it actually has two waves of support, I believe, or two like major waves of support. So you have the standard X-Sabers, which as you can see, most of the standard X-Sabers are kinda eh. They were kinda eh. But then, you had the cards known as X-Saber Wayne, Urbellum, Salza. Salza and Wayne were good, Urbellum is meh. In fact, I'm actually gonna get rid of him and add one more of him. But yeah, so basically Wayne and some of their base cards are the only thing that gave them hope until double X Sabers. So double X Sabers are kind of broken in a lot of ways because they basically just make this deck's consistency go from 1 to 100. So I guess let's get into how X Sabers work and why they are quite a competent warrior deck actually. So we have X Saber Arabellum. He's mostly played because he's a level 3 tuner, or one of the two level 3 tuners in the deck. So if this card inflicts damage to your opponent by direct attack, discard one random card from your opponent's hand. It's White Magical Hat, but better. That's all it is. It's Power Creep White Magical Hat, and it's a Beast, which is one of the weird ones, because I believe most of these are Beast Warriors, and Warriors. There are a few other ones, like Insects in here, but like I said, most of the main archetype is Warrior, Beast Warrior. But whatever. It's an okay card, but it's not great. Next up we have X-Saber Paschal. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. And then during each of your opponent's standby phases, take 1,000, but if it's in attack position, you don't take damage. Or if it's face down, obviously. Pretty decent. It's basically just a stall card, and because of the fact it's a level 2 tuner in the deck. That's the main reason why you play, is just because it's level 2. X-Saber Uros. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can tribute this to return the top card, return it to the top of its owner's deck. This card is absolutely useless, to be completely honest. It's just another level 4 X-Saber for us to summon, because there's only two in the entire archetype that are level 4. And you kind of need level 4s when you have two level 3 tuners, or two different level 3 tuners in the deck, and you have rank 7 or level 7s all over the place. So yeah. Next up we have X-Saber Dark Soul. Yes, no reference to the game, nobody cares. So during the end phase, this was sent from your side of the field to your graveyard. This turn you can add one X-Saber. This card's actually not that bad, because, and even though I'm not playing Needle Fiber, you could use what's-its-face, Unknown Synchron and X-Saber Bogart Knight to do some really stupid combos, where basically you use X-Saber Bogart Knight in this, and you can also use Ice Sold as well with some combos with this, but you basically just combo off with Ice Sold, then you somehow you get to this, probably using like a Foolish Barrel like effect, and then you use Gotham's Call and stuff like that. Basically, this card just gives you searches for doing things that are kind of easy. I wish he was actually a tuner though, because then he would have been a lot better. But, you know, it's whatever. X-Hammer Emmer's Blade. So when this destroys, it's just a destroyed by battle floater. It's a level 4 or lower. He's okay. We mostly just run him because he's a level 3. Alongside Dark Soul, and he has a decent stall effect. Next up we have probably the best card in the deck. This is Faltrol. So Faltrol, Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special by controlling 2 or more face-up X-Saber monsters. It cannot be special summoned by other ways. And then it has a once per turn, a soft once per turn, mind you. Monster reborn of a level 4 or lower. He's just insane. He basically is what gives you your combos effectively late game. I forgot to talk about Bogart Knight, by the way. So when this is normal, you can special a level 4 or lower X-Saber from your hand, but it can't be used as synchro except for an X-Saber. That's not a big deal because you generally in this deck want to go for your X-Sabers, then go for your bigger synchros. Which there are only 3 like boss synchros in this deck. Next up is Full Helm Knight. So it's a level 3 tuner, warrior tuner. When opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target the attack and monster negate the attack, so it negates 1 attack on itself. This effect can always be used once while this card is face up on the field. If this card destroys an opponent's monster's defense position monster by battle, you can monster more level 4 or lower. You're never getting that second effect off, like ever, but it's basically there because it's a level 3 tuner and it has a decent effect. Double X-Saber Garda Strike. If you have 2 or more X-Saber monsters in your graveyard and you control no monsters, you can special this from your hand. He's basically just something, he's just there because he's a level 5, which means that he can tune with the level 2 into some big dudes, or the level 3 to go into, he can, substitute Wayne for a few other combos, stuff like that. So he's pretty decent. Next up we have Gotham's Second Call. So this card basically, if you control an X-Saber synchro, you can special 2 X-Sabers from your grave. And then special them, ignoring their summoning conditions, but change their attack to 0. Also destroy them this turn. Destroy them during the end phase. This card, I wish I had more copies of, because you want to play at least 3 of. Simply put, this card in your hand, plus any, it's basically Bogart Knight, summon Paschal, I believe it is, and having Fall Troll and this in your hand is basically just a bunch of infinite synchro. It's close to just insane amounts of synchro summoning, because you use these 2 to go into their level 6. Then you use Fall Troll, bring back the level 6, or not the level 6, the level 2. Yeah, I believe that's how it works. No, was it the level 3? Yeah, it was the level 3. Sorry, it was the level 3. So you use Bogart Knight, summon any level 3, synchro them into the level 7. You're probably doing Sauza. Use Fall Troll effect to resummon the level 3. Level 3 in this goes into your level 9. Then you use Gotham's Second Call, special summoning Foul Troll and the level 3. You then use Gotham's effect to tribute the level 3 to sack a random card from your opponent's hand. Then you use Fall Troll to resummon it. Then you use it to special summon X-Saber. Then you use it to special summon the level 3. Go into X-Saber Gotham's. And you could also then go into a card which I will actually add into the extra deck right now, because it's broken. Ready for what it is, boys? Bam. True King of all calamities. So literally what would be considered a 4-card combo that is somewhat consistent in this archetype, because you have Reinforcement of the Army and you have Dark Soul in case if things go slow, and you can set this combo up. That combo is so insane because you get to so in the end, because these are soft ones per turns, you get to rip 2 cards of your opponent's hand with this combo, end on a BFD, aka Big Fucking Dragon, known as the True King of all calamities, and then your opponent can't activate monster effects for the rest of the turn when you use it, and then you can, on the next turn, you would still have 2 cards left in hand if you did this combo perfectly, to just continue doing mad stuff. So yeah, this card's kind of insane. Reinforcement of the Army, it's kind of obvious. You know, Bogart Knight is literally the best starter in the deck. Why not have a way to search Bogart Knight? Saber Slash, this is effectively Ritual Beast Steeds and or the Gladiator Beast Trap. I believe, I forget what it's called now. The new Gladiator Beast Trap that does the same thing, but this is just a spell version of it. Destroy a number of face-up cards on the field equals the number of face-up type division X sabers you control. So you summon a bunch of them before you synchro summon, bam, wipe your opponent's board. Oh, and it's not once per turn either. Bam, wipe them again. Bam, wipe them again. Like this card basically just gives this deck unprecedented amounts of removal. And that's what this deck's really weird about it, is that it's a slightly spammy deck if you open up the right lines, but it also has the ability to just play the long game, and then once it has enough advantage, it just wipes fields of cards off your opponent's, like off the face of the earth. Saber Vault, each X Saber loses defense equal to its level and gains attack equal to its level times 100. It's pretty much just there because the high level synchros like Gothams goes from being a 3100 to being, I think he goes to being a 4000 beater. So he can compete with frickin' Chaos Max. That's pretty much the only reason why we run it, and it makes cards like Full Helm Knight actually usable because then they go up to 1600. This dude goes up to 1900, so he can actually pierce over. Bogart Knight actually becomes a pretty decent level 4 beater. Basically, it just makes all your dudes decent beaters for the levels. Sword of Sparkles. Equip only to an X Saber. If it destroys an opponent's monster in my battle, you can destroy one card your opponent controls. And then you contribute one monster to return this card from your graveyard to the top of the deck. You only use this like once or twice every once in a while. You basically just wait until you draw this, equip it to one of your X Saber synchros, probably Gothams or Sauza, and then proceed to just wreck face with it by popping cards after you kill them. Gom's Emergency Call, it's basically like a partial soul charge for the entire archetype. So if a face of X Saber is on the field, you can target 2 X Sabers in your grave, special them both to your side of the field. Oh, sorry, it's in any graveyard. So if you somehow have playing the mirror match, and I'm not even kidding you this, if your opponent activates Gotham's Call, Gotham's Second Call, whilst this is in your on your field for some reason, you can activate this, steal both their freaking X Sabers, and if you steal Pashul, you can steal like Pashul and friggin' Full Helm Knight, and then you now have a guaranteed level 6 synchro next turn if they don't have more than 3, if they don't have more than 2 attacks that turn, so it's just kind of funny. But yeah, this is basically just a frickin' archetypal soul charge for this deck that doesn't require you having a synchro. Sucks that it's a trap, but it kind of makes sense why it is. I mean, come on now, look when Goki had a version of this, and that version was a hard once per turn, and the deck still had to get hit because of Link monsters. And Saber Hole, the dumbest card in the entire archetype. By far. So, activate walls you control. You can only activate them so you control the face of X Saber. Negate the summon of a monster and destroy it. Any summon. Any summon. Literally normal summon, negate. Oh, and it's not once per turn either. So if you have all 3 of these and you have a Full Helm Knight in the field, oh, negate. Oh, you're playing Orcus for some reason, negate. Oh, you got that one last card, negate. Basically, anything that summons any summon in the entire game, and you open up 3 of these, this deck can just hammer it. The few decks I say that this card doesn't kind of deal with very well is like, well, there's 3 decks I can think of off the top of my head, and only one of them is meta relevant, or, well, 2 of them are meta relevant. Paleozoic and, yeah, Paleozoic and Eldritch. But Eldritch, it's a bit funky because you can use this to negate the summon of, obviously, Golden Lords, so it's still actually kind of useful in the meta right now, if you were to play this deck. But either way, let's go into the extra deck. I'll show you the generic synchros real quick. Crystal Wing, we have a level 6 and we have a level 5 in the deck. We have level 3 and level 2 tuners with them. That obviously means at some point we may be able to make a Crystal Wing synchro. And that's just a monster negate, plus it runs over any level 5 or higher with ease. Crystal Core and Kondrax, we have a bunch of level 3s. And we have a level 4s, level 2s. Specifically, what the heck is it? 2 level 2s and a Wayne. 2 level 2s and the level 5 dude right here, Guard a Strike. What else? You also have level 2, level 3, and a level 4. Basically, there's a lot of cards that can help you summon this dude. And then he just gets to banish cards on the field up to the number of synchro materials, which means you're getting at least 3 off of this. You can get more potentially. Well, you can get more in other decks, not in this deck. This deck you're getting 3 pops with it, which is pretty good. And then we have Satellite Warrior, a card that a lot of people think is kind of stupid, but I think actually kind of works in this deck really well, especially with like the whole setup of basically defending and then nuking your opponent's field when they get their setup ready. So this card requires a non-tuner synchro monster. That's fine because we have level 3s plus Sauza. We don't have a level 1 sadly. I wish we did have a level 1, but I thought there was a level 1 for X-Sabers, but what do I know? I don't think they do. A level 1 tuner for this archetype would be really good though. But what is it? You have the level 6, which you can technically do with 2 level 2s. Because I don't remember if it's I don't know, it's just 1 tuner. So basically it's just going to be the level 7s. Or you can technically have Crystal Wing plus a level 2. But you're not going to do it that way. But basically this is like your late game end board card. So basically when this synchro summoned, or if this synchro summoned, sorry, for card text reasons, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of synchros in your grave, destroy them, and if you do, this card gains 1,000 for each card destroyed. And then if this synchro would be destroyed, you can special up to 3 level 8 or lower Warrior Synchron, and or Stardust Synchro monsters from your graveyard with different names from your graveyard. Now, if they actually made an X-Saber Warrior card, like just X-Saber Warrior something, it would be so funny because then you can make this card special it. Especially if it had like a negate or something, that would actually be kind of cool. But regardless, that's basically our generic synchros in the archetype. Satellite Warrior obviously probably being the hardest to get into, but the easy are the best out of there. Quarion Condrex is basically just like another finisher. That's really good. Oh yeah, and cool facts, if they somehow manage to banish your monster with like Call by the Grave or something like that, and this gets destroyed, it can special that card back, which is kind of neat. So, and then this card obviously is the easiest of all of them to summon in terms of like how you summon it, but it's also, you know, kind of just a helper card in the end of the day. So let's go on to the actual X-Saber cards for the extra deck for the most part, aside from obviously True King, which I already talked about. So, X-Saber Salza. Tribute 1 X-Saber, then choose one of the effects. This card gains the following effect. This is not a once per turn, by the way, so you can do this as many times as you want for some reason. So you can use both. So, at the start of damage step, this card battles an opponent's monster, destroy that monster. So it basically gives it, Catastor. It basically makes it Catastor, but without the effect of it being, without the effect of it being restricted to monster attribute. It's just any monster. And then this card cannot be destroyed by trap effects. Now that's not as insane, but it is kind of good actually, because this card, believe it or not, if you can get this card off, if you can tribute it and get the effect off, and they don't know which effect you're choosing, this card can actually out-Eldritch. Because the way that this works is if you tribute 2, right, for both effects, and your opponent doesn't respond by tributing each, or by doing each. So, like, you would tribute first, obviously, for the trap effects, then tribute for the other one. And then you go and run into Eldritch with this dude. It destroys the card before, like, as a quick effect. Then, if they try and use their card, I believe it's the, I don't know if it's the dude or if it's the horse, which one does it, but when they try and pop your monster, nope. Sorry, I can't be destroyed by trap effect. So, yeah, he's actually pretty cool. He's not, like, insane or anything. He's just, like, a funny card that does some really tacky stuff against certain archetypes. Next up is Urabellum. This is by far the worst of all of the Synchro monsters from X-Saber. So, but you play one just because it's a level 7. And you don't want to run 3 Salza, even though Salza's arguably just better. So if this card inflicts damage to your opponent while they have 4 more cards in their hand, place one random card from their hand on top of their deck. So basically it just makes it to where they don't draw per turn. That's what they do. They don't draw per turn. Or if you have a way of getting rid of that card in other ways. Easily the best Synchro in the whole archetype is X-Saber Wayne, so he's a level 5. So you can't summon him with Bogart Knight, sadly, but don't worry, there are ways around that. Like I said, you can do some other combos to get him out. If this, or when this card is Synchro summoned, so he can miss timing, which kind of sucks, but you can special one level 4 lower warrior from your hand. Cool fact, this can also summon, I believe it's Armageddon Knight. Yeah, he can summon Armageddon Knight from your hand for free, which is kind of cool because basically this has a weird combo with I think it's, what is it? Because this card just requires non-tuner, so it's, if you have that in your hand plus Lefty, I believe it is. Yeah. This level become 3, so no, this is the one that becomes 4. I know there's or no, it wasn't that. It was the TG monsters. If you use the TG Striker plus Warwolf combo, special them both, then you summon Wayne. Wayne special summons Armageddon Knight from hand. You get to send one. Then you can link them up into Isolde, use Isolde combos, and you still haven't done your normal summon yet. So 3-card combo, and it's a pretty decent one with this card. A lot of people don't a lot of people sleep on this card. This card can actually be really insane because it's generic and it summons warriors. But yeah, easily the best card in the archetype because he just continues your plays. Gotham's already talked about. Tribute and X-Saber. To discard one card, random card in your opponent's hand. It's not even once per turn, by the way. So if you can somehow manage, with a variation of that combo I said earlier, where you get this guy out, plus Fall Troll, you can discard your opponent's entire hand. Literally this card. So basically you summon this, right? So you summon out Bogart, summon the level 3, then you summon out Fall Troll, and you have Gotham's second call in hand, right? So you special summon a CEUs, and if you have any level 4 or lower engrave as well, this is insane. So if you have like a Foolish Burial or something like that, or if a guy died earlier, use Fall Troll to rebring it back, bring back one of the dudes. Then you can synchro this with, like, I guess Full Helm Knight into Gotham's, tribute Bogart and whatever level 4 lower you summoned to discard 2 random cards. Then you use Gotham's second call, special summoning Fall Troll and Full Helm. You tribute Full Helm, use Foul Troll, special summon Full Helm, tribute Full Helm and Foul Troll, and now they start the duel with one hand, and that card also opens up, allowing you to have Saber Hole on the field. You can also have Saber Hole, which means if they have a monster, they lose. So yeah, Gotham's is the best card in the deck once you're set up. Because he just nukes opponents' hands left and right. Like, this card can almost be as good as the wind-up loop, just with Gotham's second call, plus any, plus Foul Troll. Foul Troll, plus him, plus basically any other extenders equals just insanity. And next we have probably the most basic, underwhelming, yet overpowered at the same time card in the extra deck, and the card that basically allows us to go into most of our synchros. And that is Hyunle. Double X-Saber Hyunle. So this card requires an X-Saber, or no, yeah, it requires non-tuner X-Sabers. This one requires Urs, this one requires none, and then he requires X-Sabers. But so Hyunle allows you, when it's synchro summoned, you can select up to 3 speller traps on the field and destroy them. Yeah, about that. Okay, Eldritch, have fun. This deck, funnily enough, so I'll say this, right? If they gave them a new field spell that searches, a way to search Gotham's cards, and a way to, a new synchro, like any synchro that has any form of negate whatsoever, this archetype would literally be the death of Eldritch. The reason why is like I said, if you had any synchro that had like negation, or like you can tribute one X-Saber, you can tribute an X-Saber you control, X-Saber monsters you control are unaffected by trap effects the rest of this turn. Then you synchro summon Hyunlei, use the effect, wipe their back row. Like, it's just, oh my lord, Hyunlei is so good at that. And if you're running what the hell is it called? The one that sends the Macrocosmos. If you run Macrocosmos in this deck, which I have run in the sideboard before, this card now becomes banish 3 spell or trap cards your opponents control, which means that if you're playing up against Eldritch, you can use this to banish 3 of their dudes so they can't float, and use their graveyard effects. So yeah, Hyunlei, not the greatest, but still really good. And then obviously BFD, which just, oh, we made it to where your deck just no longer play. You no longer play Yu-Gi-Oh! for half the game. So yeah, so overall X-Saber is a great archetype that is missing powerful tuners. It needs some level readjustment, so it needs a level 1 tuner and probably a level 2 non-tuner. And they need a few cards that allow them to search their support and or themselves, particularly a new field spell or maybe a normal spell that like says, like, I don't know, friggin' send one X-Saber from your hand to the grave to add, you know, up to 2 X-Sabers with different names from your deck to your hand, like something like that. Like where it's a neutral card effect, but it's a good neutral. And then obviously maybe like 1 or 2 more powerful, 1 or 2 like synchros, potentially like a level 10 and another like level 7. And this deck would be a meta deck, because this deck has all the writings of a meta deck on it in a lot of ways. It has really big combos where it can keep extending into its own synchros and continue just extending into even, you know, generic synchros. It has the ability to hand loop, it has the ability to disrupt your opponent's field. They can also have ways of doing well in battle, and they have some niche effects. They have the ability to keep recurring themselves and keep themselves up in the field. They have control effects and ways to keep bringing themselves back without themselves being on the field. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, this deck is just so good, and even now that it's no longer a meta deck, I feel that this deck is just another wave of support away from being probably one of the best meta decks in the game. Which is funny, because it's a synchro archetype. And it's been a while since the synchro archetype's in meta. Well, aside from Emancipator, but we don't count that as a synchro archetype. That's called a cheat archetype. So yeah, so let's just get into a random duel. Now, this archetype actually does pretty well against Infernity. At least, mind you, pure Infernity. Because that's what he's playing much more close to. He's playing closer to pure Infernity. And we have opened up quite a bad hand. Believe it or not. Like, if we open up Ember's Blade, this hand is insane. But he seems to be opening up way better than us. Okay, game. So now we just need to sit here and let him crash into Emmers. And then if we draw Foul Troll, we basically nuke the entire field. So now he summons Avenger and that, I don't know if he's going to Synchro. No, he's not. So Emmers is going to summon Dark Soul, and we have, boys, it's over. It's over. We just opened up the nuts. So during the end phase, Dark Soul is going to get us that Foul Troll. And now if we draw any X-Saber, we win. Like, it's a wrap. But we drew a second X-Saber Foul Troll. That's actually kind of bad. So we survive next turn as long as he doesn't get another monster. Okay, he did not get another monster. Okay. So we live. We need any X-Saber monster. Any X-Saber. That actually works. So he specials himself. Use the effect of Emergency Call. Special enemy back, Emmer's Blade and him. Now what we're going to do next is kind of controversial, but we're going to ram. Emmer's Blade's going to summon out Wilhelm Knight. And I guess we'll destroy Avenger. Main phase 2, and now we're off to the real races. So we're going to synchro these two into Hyunlei so we can discard his whole hand. Or get rid of all of his spells, sorry. Starting to use Gothams. Bring back Emmers in full. See, boys, the combo is rising. So if we had any different levels, it would also help too, but... So we're going to go into Gothams 1. So then we're going to use Foul Troll. Especially full helm. Gonna use summon Gothams. Off of those two. Summon Foul Troll. Foul Troll, summon back Full Metal. And go into Hyunlei. Now we could go into BFD, but I don't think he's going to draw Infernity Archfiend. So, there you go, boys. The end board with a search, meaning that we get to grab Bogart Knight. Which means we will now have, we can overlay and then start going into the rank 7 train. Or the level 7, the friggin' level 7 train. Okay, boys, so we're gonna normal summon him. Go into BFD. With our Gothams. They'll be going straight to the extra monster zone. We don't want to use the effect of him. Foul Troll. Doing the special Full Metal. Or full helm, whatever. We're going to summon Sauza. And mind you, this will not kill him this turn because we have to use Gotham's second call, which means we don't get a battle phase. So we're going to tribute him. We're going to tribute Full Helm Knight. And then we can Gotham's, summoning out File Troll and Bogart. Now playing Foul Troll and attack was actually an issue, but regardless it don't matter too much. So Full Helm off because of the fact that we contributed off, so it doesn't matter too much. Or we can do this, the other method. Satellite Warrior. Pop 2. Then we can use the effect of this one. Popping you, and Saber Vault. And there we go. And I believe this is a GG right here. Shut up, BFD. I don't need you. Yep, this is enough for a kill. As long as Satellite Warrior and goes through, we get a win. And yep, they have no responses, so. And there you go. That is freaking. Yeah, now, if he had a more established board, this would have been a lot more, a lot less taxing. But as you can see, that is a and Jesus Christ. Ain't that a pull? But no, in all seriousness, guys, this is how stupid X-Sabers can be if need be. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I don't know what pack you get X-Sabers from. I believe it's Gong Strong, but whatever. If you guys want the easiest way of getting all of them, go to ArcV and play against Kit Blade. He has the X-Sabers. If you guys want any of the dual terminal sort of archetype, like the dual terminal trio, each of their duelist challenges give you each of their ones. So you have X-Sabers, you got Gem Knights, and you got Constellars. Like I said, that's how I got most of the cards for it. Aside from that, I do recommend testing out this deck. X-Sabers have some really, really good combos. Like I said, obviously the version I played here was not the most consistent due to a lack of a specific card, plus among other cards. Yeah, hopefully we get more cards in the future. And yeah, this is Desmond Yu-Gi-Oh! Signing off. Hopefully you guys, like I said, enjoyed the video once more. Tell me what archetypes you guys want me to go over next, potentially. I've already completed Gimmick Puppets and X-Saber so far, so and I've also done a little bit with Sylvans, but either way, yeah, if you guys want me to do any new archetypes and stuff like that, yeah, just call me out in the comments and I'll post them, because I actually really like looking at archetypes in this game, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, that being said, for the last time, this is just